Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Um, Happy Monday, y'all. How's it going? No. All right. Where y'all at? Crafty. Hello, hello, hello. Black women. Hey, friend. All right, now let's go to Instagram. How are you? I want to say hi to my parents, hi to my sister. We are less than 48 hours away from seeing each other. Uh, I got my first vaccine, COVID vaccine today. My arm is a little sore. Today was pretty productive. Tonight we have stories, some fun stories. We got stories about Taylor Swift. We got stories about Nipsey Hustle. If you are a person who enjoys CBD products, we have a story for you. Breakfast at Tiffany's. If you've ever seen that movie, we've got a story for you as well. And we're talking about Little Nas X. That's like the first one. First one on. That's the first story we're talking about tonight. All right. So get ready for a rockin' good time on the show. I have some announcements once we start. Be aware that we start at 8:05 with the intro. Not necessarily the content starts at about 8:10. But I'm really excited about today's show. I know I didn't post today, but I had a really busy weekend and content planning kind of fell by the wayside, unfortunately. But after, I disconnect and go on my vacation, I'm going to reconnect. I'm going to come back stronger than ever. Don't mind me. I am a silly goose. All right. Okay. Where y'all at? It's Monday. I know y'all ain't got nowhere to go. What, y'all got your COVID test, so now y'all out in the streets? Y'all don't want to hang out with me anymore? We've been hanging out for almost a year. Where y'all at? Come on. Don't abandon me for your COVID vaccines. But one thing I want to do when everything is up and running, I do want to try and plan a live in-person version of the show. So let's hope things go well. Okay. All right. So we are getting started in less than a minute. Hello to my friend who popped in on Facebook. Please say hi. We've got lots of stories today, so I'm really excited. Ooh. I think y'all have figured out my formula, so you know around what time to pop in. All right, I got y'all. That's cool. So maybe we won't start off with Taylor Swift. With Lil Nas X. We'll start off with Taylor Swift. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think I'll do. We'll do like a quick intro story, or a couple quick intro stories, and then we'll get into the meat, and potatoes of the show. All right. So yeah, grab your pens, your papers, your drinks, and let's go, because it's 8:05. Welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday through Wednesday live broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice and you're like, who is this lady? I'm Natalie Pierre-Lewis. I'm the host of the show, and I'm the owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC, a business formation firm. What that means is I help people like yourself get your business paperwork together. So things like getting your articles of incorporation, making sure you have EIN numbers and DUNS numbers, getting brand protection strategies, making sure you have contracts for partners and clients, and hiring strategies so you don't get sued for discrimination. I help you do all of these things. If you are wondering, well, I'm qualified to help you do all of these things, I'm very happy that you asked. I'm a licensed attorney, have been one for 15 years and counting. I've started multiple businesses for myself and others, both online and offline. I've had many careers in the realms of entrepreneurship, the law, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I'm very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everyone as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, but a lot of you have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to be successful in business, there are just some things you need to know. There's no way around it, okay? So that's why I'm here. So if you are in the startup phase of your business and you need some legal guidance, you need a friend to help you fill out the forms, you need a friend to help you, figure out how to protect your ideas, I'm the person you want to call. Go to linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm and book yourself a free 15-minute consultation today, as well at linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. You can download the free Biz Launch cheat sheet. This is a PDF document that I created that will help you choose and start your dream business in 7 days or less. Excuse me. At linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. So if you ever miss a live episode, you can catch up at your leisure. And at linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm is also where you can get a lot of my digital products, my video trainings, my ebooks. Like this month, we've been focusing on DUNS numbers. So you've got the DUNS number video training that's available up there. And last but not least, linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm is where you can get your NPL legal dish merch. You can get your t-shirts. We have mugs as well. So go check us out over there. Okay. But that is, excuse me, enough about the business side. Let's get to why we're here. Let's get to the show. This is how the show works for somebody who's, watching the replay and you're like, what is this? Right? So the way this show works is I pull stories from the news, stories from blog sites, stories from anywhere that is interesting. I have, Google alerts set up. Y'all send me stories. Hi, DG99 Elohim. And I pull the stories that have lessons that we can learn as business owners, and we talk about them, okay? So this is a time for you to get involved. Don't be shy. I want your questions. I want your comments, as long as they're respectful. I will be asking you to put, some comments and put some emojis and things like that in the comment box. So as long as you are not driving, stay ready, okay? So we're going to get started on that. I do have one quick but big announcement just to remind you guys. We are only having 2 shows this week, and we are having no shows next week. I'm going on vacation starting on Wednesday of this week. I will not be back till next Tuesday, but then I'm going to need a day to recover, okay? So we're only having 2 shows this week, no show next week, and we'll be back the week after that, okay? All right. So now that we've gone through all of that rigmarole, let's get started on our stories. Oh, before we start, hey Tanya, we started implementing the NPL nugget of the day. This month we've been focusing on DUNS numbers, but we have a lot of stories that I want to get through today, so we're going to kind of skip over that and get to the stories, all right? Okay, so first story we are covering tonight. If you know who Taylor Swift is, please give me a T in the comments. If you know who Taylor Swift is, please give me a T in the comments. The one Taylor Swift song that I always remember that I like is You Got That Big Song, dun, 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 dun. I don't know the words, I just know the tune. I never know the words to the song, but don't mind me. She ain't my favorite artist, but Taylor Swift, she got some bops. So if you know who Taylor Swift is, give me a T. All right. Even if you don't know who Taylor Swift is, she is a very popular pop artist. Recently, she was in a little bit of a legal kerfuffle. Taylor Swift recently came out with an album named Evermore, right? And she was selling merchandise, t-shirts, accessories, things like that. The problem is there is an amusement park called Evermore, right? And they've had a trademark. Thank you, Tanya, for the tea. They've had a trademark on the word Evermore for several years. So when Taylor Swift was coming out with her, when Taylor Swift came out with her album Evermore and was, selling merch, they were like, hey, there's one Evermore in this town and it's us. We're the ones selling merch. We sell t-shirts as well at our amusement park. We sell merch. Taylor Swift, please stop selling, Evermore merchandise. So they were in court arguing over that, right? Here's the problem. Taylor Swift's attorneys, they had a counter argument from for Evermore. They said, look, even if we've been using the Evermore name, y'all have been playing Taylor Swift music at your little amusement park without permission. So so we might be engaging in trademark infringement, but you're engaging in copyright infringement, right? So they're like, so what are we going to do? So what do you think has happened between Taylor Swift and the Evermore amusement park? Taylor Swift was staring trademark infringement in the face. Evermore was staring copyright infringement in the face. What do you think the two parties did? What do you think the two parties did? Like, if you ever heard of what's that thing? I hope this is not a racist term, but Mexican standoff, where it's like three groups of people just staring each other down, and it's like it's a standoff, right? So it's a standoff between Taylor Swift and Evermore amusement park. What do you think happened? I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? Because we got a lot of stories to get through. They've settled for no money. Basically, everybody was like, you know what? You go back to your corner. We'll go back to our corner. And we're just going to call it quits. We're not going to bother each other anymore because both of them have dirt on their hands. So Taylor Swift doesn't have to worry about this trademark infringement suit from Evermore. And Evermore doesn't have to worry about a copyright infringement suit from Taylor Swift. So this is, I guess, a case of two crimes washing each other out, which doesn't usually happen. Well, these aren't really crimes. They're just, misdemeanors. But whatever. Okay? All right, moving on to our next story of the evening. If you know who Nipsey Hustle is, please give me give me the black and white flag emoji. Or if you can't find that, give me an N in the comments. If you're a Nipsey Hustle fan, give me the marathon flag emoji or give me an N in the comments. Okay, this is another quick one. So, if you didn't know, Nipsey Hustle, he is a rapper that was unfortunately killed a couple of years ago. And he was really beloved within the hip hop community and also the California. Thank you, DG99 Elohim. And also, he was, I think he was a former gang member who, reformed, but he was still, very much involved in trying to improve his community, right? Well, since Nipsey's death, there's been a lot of things happening. I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about when Nipsey died, the Crips, the former organization known as the Gang of the Crips, they reorganized themselves into a nonprofit organization. And one of the first things that they did was try to trademark the phrase "the marathon continues." That is the phrase that is synonymous with Nipsey Hussle. It was the phrase that represented him, right? The problem was Nipsey's family also wanted to trademark "the marathon continues." And at first, the Crips was like, we don't want no smoke with the family. We're going to let it go. But maybe I want to say 6 months or a year down the line, they still hadn't dropped the trademark applications and in fact had filed a couple more. They basically said that, the marathon continues. Not only was it associated with Nipsey Hussle, it was also associated with the Crips and they had a right to it. And essentially, in my opinion, trying to strong arm the family into trying to, let them register the trademark. But the family was like, no. They sued in court for trademark infringement, and they have since settled. Nipsey Hussle's estate has settled with the Crips. The Crips will no longer be pursuing the Marathon. The Marathon Continues trademark, and they're dropping the applications finally. I don't know why it took so long. Because they had they agreed to it initially, and then just kind of like changed their mind. Why do you think the Crips were trying to renege on their promise to not register the Marathon Continues as a trademark? Why do you think they were like, we changed our mind. We're not gonna withdraw this application? Why do you think? What do you think? Hey, why do you think? Any suggestions, and anybody have any ideas? Y'all done got your vaccines and don't know what to do. DG Nana Elohim said, that's some BS. Greedy people wanted money. Okay, so you're saying that the Crips wanted money? That's very true, because there's a lot of stuff they could have done with that trademark. They could have, put out music. They're planning on doing speaking engagements and community events and things like that. So that trademark could be very, very valuable. But Nipsey's estate has finally settled with the Crips, and it's going back to Nipsey's family. Okay? All right. So before we move on to our next story, I want to remind you guys that you are watching NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday through Thursday Monday through Wednesday, live broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. And just a reminder, we will not be having a show on Wednesday because your girl is going on vacation. All right. But yeah, if you are in the startup phase of your business and you need some legal guidance to help you, along the road of entrepreneurship, I'm here to help you. Go to linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm and book your free 15-minute consultation today. All right. Hey, Joey. Y'all, my sister just popped in. If you are looking for a Black-owned spice company, go check out Of the Seasoned Spices. All right. Okay. Next story. If you have heard of Lil Nas X, please give me an X in the comments. If you have heard of Lil Nas X, please give me an X in the comments. If you don't know who Lil Nas X is, I will give you a little background. If you remember a year or so ago, there was a very popular song called Old Town Road that came out. It was everywhere. You could not escape it. Lil Nas X was the artist who made that song, and it has catapulted him into stardom. He has a commercial for Apple or some type of technology company. But Lil Nas X is out here doing his thing, and part of his I'm not going to say gimmick, but his persona or whatever image he's portraying is part of it is shock value, right? So Lil Nas X, for Halloween, he was Nicki Minaj, and what else? He, dresses very eccentrically, right? And he's very open about the fact that he is, queer and a member of the LGBTQ community, right? DG Nana Elohim said gimmick. All right. So if you don't know, recently Lil Nas X came out with a video to his song called Call Me By Your Name, right? And there has been an uproar about the song because there's a lot of what people are calling satanic imagery in it. You can go watch it for yourself. We're not going to discuss it here because that's not what we're here to do. But in conjunction with the release of this video, Lil Nas X has also partnered with a company called Mischief to release a limited edition shoe, right? Now, this shoe is being called the Satan shoe. This company, Mischief, they purchased 666 pairs of Nike Air Max 97s, and they did a little bit of alteration to them. They inserted 66 cc's of red dye into the shoe, as well as a drop of blood from one of the creators of the shoe. So the shoe, I believe, is on sale right now. I don't know if it's sold out, but of course, there's been a lot of outcry from, parents and religious groups and things like that, and just people in general. They're saying that, this is too much. Lil Nas X has taken it too far. And if you remember, I said that this shoe that Lil Nas X is coming out with, it is a Nike Air Max 97, right? Nike is not pleased at the fact that Lil Nas X is trying to promote this shoe that has their logo on it. They are suing Lil Nas X for trademark infringement. They're like, look, we don't have nothing to do with this Satan shoe that's coming out. We didn't know what was happening. We do not endorse this. So they are suing Lil Nas X for trademark infringement. Now, I will say to Lil Nas X and Mischief's credit, they're not focusing on the fact that the shoe is a Nike. They're focusing more on the design. But Nike is like, you got our design out here. We're a family-oriented company. So I want to know from you guys, do you think that Nike has a credible argument here for trademark infringement with this shoe that Lil Nas X is trying to promote, or are they using intellectual property to prevent somebody from making some money? What do you think? Do you think they have a credible argument for trademark infringement? Or are they just trying to stop Lil Nas X's back? Lil Nas X, he's not, focusing on the fact that the shoe is a Nike shoe. It's more on the design, right? And it's a resale item. They're very open about that. It's not coming from the Nike factory. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think? Like, for me, I understand why Nike is doing it. Nike, they have to maintain their image. They are a company that sells to families, to, mothers, fathers, people with children. They don't want to be seen as a company that is endorsing, something that might go against people's personal or religious beliefs. They are trying to, reach the masses. So, of course, they're going to be out here, defending their name. So I understand the reason for the lawsuit. What I want to know from you guys is, do you think the lawsuit is reasonable? Is Nike doing too much, or are they just trying to protect the brand? Let me know what you think. Hey. Let me know what you think. Hey. Y'all so quiet. That's cool. If you want to respond later, if you're rewatching this or you're listening to the podcast and you want to respond, y'all know where to reach me. Instagram, NPL Consulting Firm, Facebook, NPL Consult, my email, nplconsultingfirm@gmail.com. Let me know what you think, okay? But I'm interested to see what's going to happen between Lil Nas X and Nike. Okay, moving on to another story. If you have seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, give me a B in the comments if you have seen the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. I personally have never seen the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, but I've seen images from it. It stars Audrey Hepburn. It's a classic, right? Well, like many other things, someone is planning a reboot of Breakfast at Tiffany's, a remake, Paramount Pictures. But here's the problem. The heir for Truman Capote, who was one of the original creators of Breakfast at Tiffany, is suing. Truman Capote's heir is suing Paramount Pictures for $20 million, not because they've remade Breakfast at Tiffany's. He's suing them for $20 million because he said that there is a screenplay that is circulating. It is not in the public. And he's saying that just the mere fact of Paramount Pictures having a screenplay for a reboot of Breakfast at Tiffany's has cost him $20 million. He's saying, we want to make a TV show out of Breakfast at Tiffany's, but Paramount Pictures is out here, blocking our shine. So he wants them to give him $20 million for copyright infringement, because of the fact of this screenplay. Because he's saying that they don't even have the right to write the screenplay. So I want to know what you guys think of that. Do you think that the heir of one of the creators of Breakfast at Tiffany, are they entitled to $20 million because someone wrote a screenplay about the remake of Breakfast at Tiffany's? They haven't put it into production. It's just literally written on a piece of paper. What do you think about that? Me, I think it's a money grab. I think Truman Capote's heir, maybe he, squandered the family fortune and is trying to re-up the coffers. But $20 million for somebody writing a screenplay is ridiculous. This reminds me of the case with Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman. Now, I originally thought Nicki was going to lose that, right? Nicki sampled Tracy Chapman's song and was playing around with it in the studio. And Tracy Chapman tried to sue her not just for it playing on the radio, but because she even used her sample. And the judge said, no, we're not going to, charge her with that because that would stifle creativity. So I think this is along the same lines with the Truman Capote heir. You can't prevent someone from, exploring with their imagination. You can only really control what they're going to put out into the public, right? So I'm actually rooting for Paramount Pictures in this scenario because I think that Truman Capote's heir is being a little, greedy. Okay, guys. Where y'all at? Oh my gosh. All right. So we're going to have one more break before we go into the final segment of the show. I wanted to have some discussions, but apparently y'all out in these streets. That's okay. If you are tuning in right now, you are watching NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday through Wednesday live broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you are in the startup phase of your business, right? Hey, Trista, and you need some legal guidance, hit up your girl. Go to linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm and book yourself a free 15-minute consultation today. All right? Okay. Moving on to our last couple of stories for the evening. Or did I miss one? Okay. If we have time, we'll go back to this one. It's a little confusing. All right. If you have ever been to Utah, please give me a U in the comments. If you have ever been to Utah, please give me a U in the comments. I have never been to Utah. I don't really have an interest in going to the Midwest. It doesn't really call out to me. I like international travel. But if you didn't know, like I didn't know until today, Utah, the state, is known for its arches, like just natural arches that have been made by the elements and wind and water and things like that. Their arches, they say that they age them to about 65 million years old. And Utah wanted to celebrate the fact that they have so many cool arches in the state. So much so that they created a kind of bracket competition that they were calling Arch Madness. Arch Madness. Trista, what does Arch Madness sound like to you? What does Arch Madness sound like? Okay, so this is a competition where, people in Utah would take all of the arches and kind of break them down into pairs, and they would come down to a winner. So and they were calling it Arch Madness. What does Arch Madness sound like to y'all? What does it sound like? Oh, hey. Okay, so if while you guys get that in, yes, thank you, Trista Bradford. It sounds like March Madness, right? So you might think, oh, the NCAA came after them for this Arch Madness. Actually, they didn't. Here's what happened. There is a basketball conference in Missouri called the Missouri Valley Conference, and they already have a registered trademark for the name Arch Madness for their basketball tournament. So the Utah organization that was organizing this bracket competition, they have changed their competition name to the Arch Challenge instead of Arch Madness. Okay, so This is why it's important to do a search before you go trying to trademark something or, put it out in the universe. You need to make sure that there's no competition there. I'm sure if they'd done something like a little bit of a Google search, they would have found Arch Madness somewhere, right? So, just word to the wise, if you're ever trying to trademark something or make something unique, make sure you do your trademark search. Check your state registry. Check the test trademark search website on uspto.gov and just do a Google search, okay? All right. So that is that. Moving on to our last story of the evening. So a while ago, I told you guys that Bob Dylan sold his music catalog. He sold most of the rights to his music catalogs to Universal Music. He sold it for a total of $300 million. Not a bad payday. Remember, we said that a lot of these artists, they're selling their catalogs now because since we've been quarantined, they haven't been able to tour, so they can't really make their money, so they're selling, the rights to their catalogs. One of Bob Dylan's old writing buddies, or at least his widow, thinks that she is entitled to a piece of that $300 million payday. They didn't put the name of the writer, but his widow says that she deserves $7.25 million of that $300 million from Bob Dylan's catalog sale. Here's the problem. When Bob Dylan worked with her husband, it was a work for hire situation, right? So it wasn't like, he's a credited writer and he gets royalties. It was, hey, I'm going to pay you such and such amount of money to help me write this song, and then you go away, right? So the artist has already been paid his money way down the line from whenever Bob Dylan and he wrote this song, right? So he got his money. But now the widow is trying to come back and say, oh, you selling the rights to these songs? Well, I want a piece of that too. And the court was like, girl, what are you talking about? Your husband had a contract. It was a work for hire. No, you can't come back and double dip in the money that Bob Dylan made. All right. So she is going to have to go in her corner just to say that is goodbye. Yes, that is exactly. If you ever hire somebody for a work for hire, right? So let's say, just to say bye, girl, bye. Let's say I hire you to draw something for me, right? Because I don't know how to draw. And we have an agreement that says, you draw this for me. I own it, and I'm going to pay you to draw this and then go away. And I retain all the rights to this creation. If I then take this creation and I, do something with it that makes me millions and millions of dollars, you, the designer, cannot then come back to me and say that you are entitled to a piece of, the millions and millions that I'm making, because I already paid you. We had an agreement that this was a one-time thing. We are not partners in this thing, boo. So you got to go. So that's exactly what happened with the widow. And Bob Dylan's estate was like, girl, we paid your husband how many years ago? Go mind your business. We don't owe you anything. So Bob Dylan's estate is safe. Okay? All right. So those were the stories that I had for you this evening. Thanks Trista and Tanya and DG99 Elohim and Johanny Guiena for popping in. Apparently y'all out here with your vaccines. Y'all hitting the streets. It's okay. I got my first vaccine test today. My arm's a little sore. But yeah, those are the stories that I wanted to share with you. We will be back tomorrow with more stories. We do not have a show on Wednesday. Remember that. I'm going on vacation starting on Wednesday to next Tuesday. So we don't have a show on Wednesday, and we will not have a show next week. So we only have a show today and Tuesday. All right. And I'll be back the week after. But I want you guys to take care of yourselves. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you find any stories that you want me to talk about, please send them to me. I love when you send me stories. Book your actually, no, you can't book your one-on-one sessions for after my vacation. My calendar's already blocked off. There's still time for you to get your 15-minute discovery calls in tomorrow. I will not be taking any calls during my vacation. I'm really taking time to disconnect. But take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and I will talk to you tomorrow, okay? Bye.